Right. At this point in time, what I want us to do is I just want to think with regards to um, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Okay, and over here on the left, do you think that they are insincere in their concern for Hamlet? They've been called from wherever they are in order to come to the court of the king, and he's got a job for you. You're going to help him out, and it deals with your good friend Hamlet, because something's wrong with Hamlet, and now we need to try and get to the bottom of it. So how would you respond at this point in time? I think more often than not we read through Hamlet and we condemn these two characters, but without actually understanding what it would be like to be in their shoes. Okay, right. Polonius finishes off over here. The business is very well ended, my liege and madam. This is the business of Norway. And to expostulate what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, what night night, and time is time, were nothing but to waste night, day, and time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tedious the limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. But we're just going to leave it there for a moment, because I'm wanting you just to pause here and to answer those questions. What arrangement has the King of Norway made concerning Fortinbras? And question number 2, Polonius claims that brevity is the soul of wit. How is this ironic coming from him? Okay, brevity means shortness, basically. To be short is the soul of wit. Right, you can pause the video over here, you can pause the audio recording, and you can take some time just to answer those questions. Right, having paused, welcome back. Okay, and just before this, Polonius has launched into his big reveal, as it were. He's going to say it like it is: brevity is the soul of wit. Hamlet is mad. Right, and he continues: mad, call I it, for to define true madness, but what is but to be nothing else but mad. But let that go. So basically saying mad, mad, mad. Gertrude gets a bit frustrated. More matter with less art. Okay, so tell us more about what you're saying, but don't be so wordy about it. Less art. Say more, but with less flourish or with less words. Polonius continues, ma'am, I swear I use no art at all. That he is mad, 'tis true. 'Tis true, 'tis pity, and pity, 'tis true. A foolish figure, but farewell it, for I will use no art. And it just shows you his verbosity, his capacity to just be talkative. You know, almost you could say he likes the sound of his own voice. Mad, let us grant him then. And now remains that we find out the cause of this effect, or rather say the cause of this defect. So what has made him mad? And their perception of Hamlet's madness is that it is a defect in him. He is there's probably a sickness or a gene displacement or whatever. Okay, he is mad. For this effect, defective becomes by cause. Thus it remains, and the remainder thus perpend. I have a daughter. So he's kind of like come to the conclusion, or a conclusion, with regards to why Hamlet is mad. I have a daughter. This, I think, is more confusing for the listeners than anything else. Have whilst she is mine, who in her duty and obedience mark have given me this. Now gather and surmise. So he hands over the letter to them. Right, and the letter reads thus. To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. Polonius says that's an ill phrase, a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase. But you shall hear. These in her excellent white bosom. These. So basically, Polonius shows himself to be more taken aback with the fact that Hamlet calls Ophelia beautiful. He doesn't like it. Not obviously because it's his daughter, but in thinking that she is beautiful, he's focusing on her physical beauty, and Polonius's one fear, he's going to take her reputation by sleeping with her. Right, Gertrude, Came this from Hamlet to her? Polonius. Good madam, stay a while. I will be faithful. Right. Doubt thou, and he's reading now. Doubt thou the stars are fire. Doubt that the sun doth move. Doubt truth to be a liar. Doubt never doubt I love. Okay. A lot of it is with regard to doubt. And so, for one, okay, the poetry that Hamlet writes to Ophelia is insincere. It's contrived. It's over the top. Doubt thou the stars are fire. Doubt thou the sun doth move. Doubt truth to be a lie. These are grandiose concepts. And Hamlet is actually, well, let's say Shakespeare through Hamlet is actually poking fun at a group of poets that wrote over the top poetry, as it were. That they would remember Shakespeare in his sonnets referred to these poets as being, so the courtly love poets, or the sonneteers, as it were, the Petrarchans or the Italians, as being over the top, calling their loves goddesses, and their love for them a noble quest, and all that type. And Shakespeare's going like, you know what, this is over the top, and Hamlet, sort of does this as well. And then he says, "Oh dear Ophelia," now he's being sincere. I'm ill at these numbers. I'm not good at these numbers. I'm not good at writing down these lines. I have not art to reckon my groans. But that I love thee best, O most best, believe it. Adieu. Okay, so we're not too sure that if he's actually being sincere in this letter, but he does profess his love towards Ophelia. Okay, one other thing to note with regards to the letter is it talks about doubt, and truth to be a liar highlights again the theme of deception. Right. Adieu. Thine for evermore, most dear lady, whilst this machine is to him, Hamlet. Polonius says, "This in obedience hath my daughter shown me, and more above hath his solicitings, as they fell out by time, by means and place, all given to mine ear." Solicitings there refers to his advances towards her. So Ophelia has reported back to Polonius, as he commanded her, all the advances and all the letters and all the things that Hamlet has wanted to do towards her. Right. Claudius, but how hath she received his love? Polonius, what do you think of me? Why? What, that I would allow this? Do you think that I will allow this? Okay. Claudius says, as of a man faithful and honorable. Okay, so I think of you as a man faithful and honorable. Polonius, I would fain prove so, but what might you think when I had seen this hot love on the wing as I perceived it? I must tell you that before my daughter told me. What might you, or my dear majesty, your queen here, think, if I had played the desk or table book, or given my heart a winking mute and dumb, or looked upon this love with idle sight? What might you think? So he's asking what they would think of him if he had kept this secret, okay? Because he wants to be seen in their eyes to be honorable, to be noble. She says, "No, I went round to work, and my young mistress thus I did bespeak, Lord Hamlet is a prince out of thy star." Remember the speech from Act 1, Scene 4, I think it was, where he says to Ophelia she should not see Hamlet anymore. He puts an end to that relationship. Right, and then precepts I gave her, that she should lock herself from his resort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens, which done, she took the fruits of my advice, and he repulsed, a short tale to make, fell into a sadness, then into a fast, thence to a watch, then into a weakness, thence to a lightness, and by this declension into the madness wherein now he raves, all we wail for. So basically he's saying that when he was aware of this, he took action very, very quickly. He said to her that she should not see him, she should not receive any gifts, any letters, anything from him. And basically, when he was rejected in this way, Hamlet became sad. He stopped eating, then into a fast, then into a watch. He was, sort of awake all night. Then into a weakness, he became weak, and a lightness, lightheadedness, and eventually into madness. Okay, and he's mad because of love. Gertrude says, oh, Claudius, do you think 'tis this? It may be, very likely, she says. Had there been such a time, I'd fain know that I have positively said 'tis so, when it proved otherwise. Okay, have I ever been mistaken? Claudius says, not that I know of. Polonius says, he touches his head, touches his shoulder. Okay, take this from this if this be otherwise. Okay, so take my head from my shoulders if this be otherwise. So basically, cut off my head if I am wrong. If circumstances lead me, I will find where the truth is hid, though it were hid indeed within the center. How may we try it further? Claudius says. Okay, advise us how we can find out more truth. Polonius, you know, sometimes he walks for 4 hours together here in the lobby. So he does indeed. At such a time, I'll loose my daughter to him. To Claudius, he says, be you and I behind an arras then? An arras is a screen or a covering, could be a wall hanging. Mark the encounter, watch the encounter. If he love her not, and be not from his reason fallen thereon, let be no assistant for a state. So I'm willing to wager my job. I will not be your advisor if it turns out that she does not love him. Okay, but keep a farm and carters. I'll go and become a farmer with horses. Claudius says, we'll try it. And in comes Hamlet. Gertrude looks at him and says, but look, where sadly the poor wretch comes reeling. Polonius, away, I do beseech you both, away. I'll board him presently. Oh, give me leave. So he ushers them out and he says, go away, because I'm going to find him out. Now, the image that he uses, I'll board him, is one of ships. Okay, so if you're attacking a ship, you board the ship. Right. Hamlet walks in, and this is a brilliant interchange because he shows just how superior in intellect he is compared to Polonius. So in walks Hamlet, and Polonius greets him. How does my good lord Hamlet? Hamlet responds, well, God a mercy. Almost surprised. Oh, God a mercy. Do you know me, my lord? Excellent, excellent. Well, remember, he is playing mad. You're a fishmonger. Not I, my lord, says Polonius. Now, fishmonger is a seller of fish, but it's a loaded image that Hamlet, or it's a loaded insult that Hamlet tells Polonius. Polonius doesn't pick up on it because he thinks he is mad. So, the first one is, figuratively, a fishmonger is someone that traffics in prostitutes. So he would be the keeper of a brothel, a pimp, if you would. And that's with reference to what Polonius has done to Ophelia, saying that she needs to hold off in terms of Hamlet. He is in control, or he's controlling her. And this ties up later on with the get thee to the nunnery scene. Right, so Hamlet says, you're a fishmonger. The second connotation there is that he smells. Okay, he is a seller of fish, and there's always this perpetual smell, almost of rotting fish. Again, that image of decay. And thirdly, it might have been a reference to the London fishmongers down at the docks at that time, during Shakespeare's time, who were notoriously corrupt and deceptive. And so a fishmonger is associated with deception. Polonius responds, not I, my lord. Then I would you were so honest a man. Honest, my lord? Okay. I wish you were such an honest man. Honest, my lord? I, sir, to be honest as this world goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000. So basically saying that honest men are very few and far between. Polonius agrees. That's very true, my lord. For if the sun breed maggots in a dead dog, being a good kissing carrier, have you a daughter? So immediately Hamlet puts him off guard. He keeps him there. He changes the topic. And the image that he's done here, the sun breed maggots in a dead dog. So the sun rots the flesh. Again, image of corruption. Okay, rots the flesh of a dead dog. Being a good kissing carrion. A good kissing carrion is a Shakespearean insult for if you had kissed someone who was dead flesh, as in, or whose flesh was rotting, and traditionally, spiritually, and sometimes even physically, a prostitute would have had dead flesh, as it were. Okay, and immediately asks, "Have you a daughter?" Polonius, "I have, my lord." Let her not walk in the sun, so don't let her become rotten. Conception is a blessing, but not as your daughter may conceive. Okay, so conception is a blessing, referring to understanding, but also conceiving a child, but not as your daughter may conceive. Almost a veiled sort of reference to the fact that his daughter is of low morals and would conceive a child rather than an idea. Right, Polonius aside, this is him thinking, "How say you that still harping on my daughter? Yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He is far gone, and truly in my youth I suffered much extremity for love. Very near this I'll speak to him again. What do you read, my lord?" Words, words, words. Again, ambiguous. Okay. He's reading lots of words, but also Polonius is badgering him with words, words, words. What is the matter? As in, what is the subject that you are reading? Okay. Hamlet takes it the other way. Basically, what's the matter between who? Okay. Between who? I mean the matter you read, my lord. The subject. Slander, sir, for the satirical slave says here that old men have grey beards. Again, it's a diss in terms of Polonius. That their faces are wrinkled, their eyes purging thick amber or plum-tree gum, and that they have a plentiful lack of wit, together with most weak hams. Okay, the weak hams, they're weak legs that they're referring to. So basically, he's saying that old men are weak. All which, sir, though I have most powerfully and potently believed, yet I hold it not honesty to have it thus set down. For you yourself, sir, should be as old as I am, if like a crab you could go backwards. So the ambiguity there is that if you, Polonius, had to regress into youth, you would be like I am, or also he's in a way calling Polonius backwards. Right. Polonius says, "So this be madness, yet there is method in it. Will you walk out of the air, my lord?" Okay, so basically he's saying there's truth in this madness here. Will you walk out of the air, my lord? Will you come out of this breezy place, this hallway, this lobby? Hamlet says, "Into my grave." Okay, when I die one day, I will be out of the air. Polonius, "Indeed, that is out of the air." How pregnant sometimes his replies are. A happiness that often madness hits on, which reason and sanity could not so prosperously be delivered of. I will leave him, and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. My lord, I will take my leave of you. I'm going to leave now. Hamlet disses him in parting. "You cannot, sir, take from me anything that I would more willingly part withal, except my life, my life, my life." Okay, so you cannot take anything from me that I would more gladly give you than your absence. Right, fare you well, my lord. And Hamlet shakes his head. These tedious old fools. Right, so the interchange between Polonius and Hamlet is loaded with so many double meanings. Who appears to, so in this point in time, who do you think appears to be more intelligent in this interchange? And how do we view the characters at this point in time? How do we view Hamlet and how do we view Polonius? Right, the next section of this scene comes with Hamlet's interchange with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. So they have been brought to find Hamlet so that they can see how he's doing. And immediately Hamlet does an about face and he changes. He's the normal Hamlet. With Polonius, he's acting mad, okay, but he appears to be the normal Hamlet with him. Right, so in comes Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Polonius on his way out. "You go to seek the Lord Hamlet. There he is. God save you, sir," he says to Polonius. "Mine honoured lord," Guildenstern says, and Polonius leaves. Right, and then Rosencrantz to Hamlet, my most dear lord. Hamlet greets him, my excellent good friends. How dost thou, Guildenstern? Oh, Rosencrantz, good lads, how do ye both? As the indifferent children of the earth, Rosencrantz. No, so, here or there. Okay, Guildenstern, happy in that we are not over happy. On fortune's cap, we are not the very button. So we're not at the top of fortune. Okay, we're not the luckiest ones alive. Then Hamlet says, nor the soles of her shoe. Okay, so you're not unlucky, you're not unfortunate. And Rosencrantz agrees, neither, my lord. Then thou livest about her waist, or in the middle of her favour. Okay, so if you imagine fortune to be a lady, they would not be at the top of her head, nor will they be at the bottom of her feet. They will be somewhere in the middle, close to her private parts, as it were. And Guildenstern agrees. The little banter goes forward. Faith, her privates we. Okay, we are intimate acquaintances. Hamlet, in the secret parts of fortune. Almost true. She is a strumpet. What's the news? Okay, so you're in the secret parts of, you know something that we don't. Okay, and again, this allusion to deception, the secrecy. Right, Rosencrantz. None, my lord, but the world's grown honest. No, there's no news. The world seems to have grown honest. Then is doomsday near, says Hamlet. But your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither? Okay, prison being Denmark. Prison, my lord? Denmark's a prison. Then Rosencrantz says, well, if Denmark's a prison, then is the world one. A goodly one in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst. And he carries on harping on Denmark is one of the worst prisons that you will come across. Rosencrantz, we think not so, my lord. Why, then 'tis none to you, for there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Okay, that's your own opinion. To me, it is a prison. Why, then your ambition makes it one. 'Tis too narrow for your mind. Okay, so your ambition wants to be further than Denmark. Okay, Denmark is too narrow for you. You're finding it too confining because your ambition is further out. Right, Hamlet, oh God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space, were it not that I have bad dreams. Okay, dreams over there, ambiguous. It could refer to dreaming or your dreams for yourself, your ambition, or it could be nightmares. Guildenstern, which dreams indeed are ambition, for the very substance of the ambitious is merely the shadow of the dream. Hamlet, a dream itself is but a shadow, truly, and I hold ambition of so airy and light a quality that it is but a shadow's shadow. Hamlet says, then are our beggars' bodies and our monarchs and outstretched heroes the beggars' shadows. Shall we to the court? For by my fay I cannot reason. Okay, so basically they have this intellectual interchange in what is reality, what is a shadow, and what is real. Right. So shall we go to the court? Rosencrantz will wait upon you. Okay, whatever you want to do, we'll do. Right, Hamlet says, no such matter. I will not sort you with the rest of my servants. Okay, don't wait hand and foot on me, for to speak to you like an honest man, I am most dreadfully attended. I don't have good attention these days. Okay, but in the beaten way of friendship, what make you at Elsinore? So let's be cordial. I won't call you servants, I'll call you friends. Why are you here? To visit you, my lord. No other occasion. Okay, this evasive sort of response there. Well, we're here to visit you. Hamlet, beggar that I am, I'm even poor in thanks, but I thank you. And sure, dear friends, my thanks are too dear a halfpenny. Were you not sent for? It is your own Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come, nay, speak. So he's basically pushing them, going, weren't you sent for? Weren't you ask? Did Claudius not ask you to come? Guildenstern said, well, what should we say, my lord? What do you want us to say? Why, anything but to the purpose. Tell the truth. You were sent for, and there is a kind of confession in your looks. You look guilty, which your modesties have not craft enough to colour. I know the good king and queen have sent for you. Rosencrantz still tries to avoid. To what end? Why, my lord? That you must teach me. Okay? Or it's not that you must teach me. It's at that point. You must teach me. Okay? You must tell me. But let me conjure you by the rights of our fellowship, by the constancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, and by what more dear or better purposer could charge you withal, be even and direct with me whether you were sent for no. So he says, come on, okay, given all of our history, all of our affection for one another, tell me, were you sent for or not? Rosencrantz they know they're in a corner now. He says to Guildenstern, what say you? Okay, nay then, I have an eye of you. Okay, I'm standing right here. If you love me, hold not off. Don't avoid, say so. And then Guildenstern acknowledges, yeah, my lord, we were sent for. Okay, they did ask us to come. Right, Hamlet says, I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery and your secrecy to the king and queen moult no feather. Okay, so I'm going to, you're not going to have to figure this out. We'll be quite open and honest with one another. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercise, and indeed it goes so heavily with me my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air, look you, this brave overhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire. Why, it appears no other thing to me than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapours. What a piece of work is a man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable in action, how like an angel in apprehension, how like a god! The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals, and yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me, no, nor woman either, though by your smiling you seem to say so. So in the speech, Hamlet defines his depression, as it were. There are a couple of things that, he says it like he is, and he's got a very good grip of the way that he's feeling. And you've got no reason to doubt that he's not being sincere here. Okay, he says, I've lost all my mirth. I've lost my happiness, as it were. Forgone all custom of exercise. I don't exercise anymore. Indeed, it goes heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. Okay, the earth itself seems to be this sterile piece of rock, this asteroid, as it were. This most excellent canopy, the air, look you, these brave overhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire. He points to the sky, he says, the sky which people look at and see inspiration coming out of. All of these inspirational things have no feeling for him. He says rather they are, it appears no other thing to me than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. A foul and pestilent disease, okay, congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is a man. And this beautiful sense of poetry here, okay. He says man is a piece of work, okay, noble in reason, infinite in faculty, noble in reason, moral, basically, infinite in faculty, able to think things through, in form and moving, how express and admirable in action. Okay, so the way that man moves, he is beautiful. Okay, how like an angel in apprehension, how like a god in thinking and reasoning, and in morality, how much like a god. The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals, the top end of all animals. And yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? I see man just being a conglomeration of dust. And again, this subtle reference to death, from ashes to ashes, dust to dust, or to dust we will return. Man delights not me, no, nor woman either, though by your smiling you seem to say so. Okay, so you smile, you know that there's kind of this bawdy rivalry there, or rivalry, going, yeah, I know, man doesn't doesn't delight you, but woman does, you know. He says, but woman doesn't either. Right, Rosencrantz defends himself. My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts. Why did you laugh then when I said man delights not me? Rosencrantz says, to think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you. And so they tell him about the actors that are on their way. We quoted them on the way, and hither they are coming to offer you service. Right, and then Hamlet talks about them, and he classifies them. He that plays the king shall be welcome. His majesty shall have tribute of me. The adventurous knight shall use his foil and target. The lover shall not sigh gratis. The humorous man shall end his part in peace. The clown shall make those laugh whose lungs are tickled of the seer, and the lady shall say her mind freely, or the blank verse shall hold for it. What players are they? And then they go on to talk about these players that have come from the city, and there are a couple of things happening within the city that now they've been forced to play. What's been happening in the city? Well, there are other acting companies. If you have a look at the next page over there, the acting companies, there is an area of children, little Iases that cry out on the top of question and are most tyrannically clapped for it. So basically, there are companies of children acting, and they are all the rage in the city. So now the adults, the serious actors, have to go and they have to travel to the outlying areas like Elsinore, like Denmark. Hamlet, what are they? Children, who maintains them? How they are escorted? Will they pursue the quality no longer than they can sing? Will they not say afterwards if they should grow themselves to common players, normal actors, as it is like most of the world? If their means are no better, their writers do them wrong to make them exclaim against their own succession. So basically he says if there's no future for these children in the theatre, then whoever's controlling them, whoever's paying for them, are doing them wrong. Okay, this is a subtle commentary through Hamlet about the state of the theatre during Shakespeare's time. Shakespeare was part of a troupe of actors that were not allowed to perform because they were Catholic. They sided with Catholic noblemen, and so they were, and also it doesn't help that the patrons of their theatre company were actually on trial for treason. So there's a reference to that. Also during that time there were a number of companies of young actors, children basically, who used to do satire in a number of the theatres there. So those watching from rival acting companies or whatever would know that he was talking about them there, and that had forced these actors on the road. And so Hamlet asks them about, okay, what is happening with these actors, and basically in they come. So on the next page over here, okay, there are the players, and Hamlet greets them. You are welcome to Elsinore. Your hands come. The appurtenance of welcome is fashion and ceremony. He's saying this to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Okay, he greets them. Right, and then he greets the theatres. You are welcome, but my uncle, father, and aunt, mother are deceived. In what, my lord? I am but mad north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw. And that's line 380 there. So basically he's saying Claudius and Gertrude are deceived. They don't know. I'm not really mad. Okay, north-northwest generally was the wind that people thought to bring sadness or depression or melancholy. Okay, the wind southerly would have changed their mood completely. Okay, right, guys, I don't want to spend too much time on here, but rather I want you to have a look at these questions. Okay, so how does Hamlet view Denmark at this point in time? Quote 2 sentences or questions at this stage that show that Hamlet is suspicious of their presence. Excuse the typo over there. Their THEIR presence at the castle in Denmark, and that is with reference to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. And then quote 3 words spoken by Rosencrantz and Guildenstern that give away their game. Right. Guys, here would be a good time to pause, okay, and then we'll finish up the scene as we go along. Right. Thank you, guys.